All right, we'll go ahead and get started. This is the 11th grade parent and student meeting. Thank you again for joining us tonight. I do want to make sure that you are aware that we will not be talking very much about reopening schools or answering questions, honestly, because we don't have a lot of information about that. And we don't want to give any false hope or false information. Dr. Emmenheiser, our superintendent, held a town hall meeting last night. It is my understanding that the meeting was recorded and will be available on the district website. In that meeting, she talked about the safety procedures and protocols that have been put into place in our schools, as well as the anticipated opening timeline based on the public health department. So if you have questions about that, please check out the district website tomorrow for more information. Tonight we will be talking about what we're doing as counselors, what our role is and how we're helping your students. What we will review the requirements both for graduation and for college. We recognize that this is a really tough year for a lot of students, and yet it's a very important year, especially when it comes to college admissions and being on track for graduation. So we'll review some of those requirements. We will talk class scheduling for next year, AP and IB classes, really getting prepared for college, the SAT and CAS testing, getting help and getting involved. We'll provide our contact information at the end. And at the very end, we will stay on and take some questions. You can put questions in the chat, but we won't be stopping to answer those until the very end. And so if you have a question, you can either hold it till the end or put it in the chat. Miss Alexander, Miss Mealy, and myself will also be adding to the chat different links. So if there's a link on the slide, we know that you can't click on it. And so the links will be in the chat so that you have those available to you if you want them in the future. Let's start with some introductions. I'll pass it off to Miss Alexander to start.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Danielle Alexander, and I'm counselor for students whose last names start with the letters A through E.
Hello, good evening. Thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Alexis Mealy, and I am the counselor for students with last names F through LI.
And I am Shauna Hansen. I am the counselor for students with last names RO through Z, as well as our English language learners. We also have Mr. Heflin. He unfortunately was unable to join us for the presentation tonight, but he is available during the day, and his students have last names LO through RI. And really at this point, we are all working very closely together to make sure that we are meeting the needs of students. So if they reach out to their counselor and for some reason don't hear back, have them reach out to a different one, or they can reach out to all of us. We are working very closely to make sure that we are meeting our students' needs right now, especially right now. We also have two amazing interns who have been incredibly helpful this year. If your student has been struggling, you may have received an email from them. We have Miss Ayla Wonder and we have Miss Ivy Liu. They have been very helpful in making sure that we're continuing to connect with students, especially our students who are struggling. As a counseling program, we want you to know a little bit about our program. Our mission is to provide a proactive and equitably comprehensive program addressing students' academic needs, college and career needs, their social emotional needs. We want to take into account all of students' backgrounds and individual circumstances. We want to collaborate with you as parents, with the teachers, with the students themselves, with the administrators, to making sure that we are creating or working towards students who are successful, contributing members of our society, who are lifelong learners in this very diverse and changing world. And so we are working as a team, a counseling team, but also a team of school to help make sure we're meeting those needs of the students. We really operate in three different domains: the academic needs of the student, the college and career needs, as well as the social and emotional needs. And we'll talk a little bit about each of these in more depth tonight. We also had another presentation last Thursday thank you so many of you who have sat through all of these presentations. But if you missed that one, it was also recorded in English and Spanish and is available on our school website. And that presentation was really going over what are the services that are provided through the counseling office in these 3 areas. So if you would like that presentation, you're more than welcome to get that from our school website. So let's start with requirements. First, let me just let you know, like, we know that this has been a very difficult year. We know that as juniors, they're probably thankful that they're not missing out on their senior year, but at the same time recognizing that this is an important year, and for some of them it has been overwhelming and stressful. For some of them, they feel kind of down and out, and they're not really sure what the future looks like. And so we are going to be spending some time with your children next week, kind of helping them see that there is still a future, there is still a goal, and high school graduation is still important. This pandemic is not going to go on forever. And so we're going to be working with them to review those requirements for graduation and college, with the goal that that they see kind of they have something to work for, they have something to go towards. And so they'll see this paper, they've seen it probably 4 years in a row now, but it's important, and we keep giving it out because it is a breakdown of the requirements for both high school graduation and college readiness, or what we call the A through G requirements. So so in the columns, we'll see the subject areas, we'll see the high school graduation requirements. And just as a reminder, high school graduation requirements, students must earn credits in order to graduate. Every class is worth 5 credits per semester, and students have to earn at least 220 credits in very specific subject areas. So on this, we don't expect that you can see it on your computer screen, but the students will be receiving a version of this that you can review. And it breaks down exactly what requirements need to be met in order to graduate. Students earn credits when they receive grades of D or higher. I just saw in the chat, I'm going to go over how to get this information. You don't have to know the specifics of it right this minute, but just know that it will be accessible, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. And then the other column is the A through G requirements, or what's expected of students to be prepared for college in the California Public College University system. So A through G is just assigned, each subject area is assigned a letter. So history, social science is A, English is B, etc. And they also have very specific requirements for meeting those A through G requirements. So for example, 4 years of English, 3 years of history. One of the major differences between the high school graduation requirements and the college readiness requirements is that students have grades of C or higher to be considered college ready. So those are some of the requirements. One other thing that the state has indicated to us is that they also expect our students to be what they call college and career ready, or prepared. And so they have given a set of criteria that they expect students to meet in order to be considered prepared for the college and for life or success after high school. And so they have different criteria. We'll be providing that to the students as well. We took that very fancy graphic and basically broke it down into a series of check boxes. So in order to meet that college and career readiness indicator as designated by the state, students have to check off one of these boxes. So they either need to score well on the CASP or the SBAC. They need to pass 2 AP exams or 2 IB exams. They need to complete 2 dual enrollment classes. They need to complete the A through G requirements and one of those additional criteria in the boxes. Many students complete this without, just because that's what they're doing. They're on a path towards that by taking the classes that they're in. So we do want students to also be intentional about meeting the indicator, college and career readiness indicator, but many students do so without needing to do anything new or additional. one of the things that the students will also be receiving is the list of A through G requirements. So these are the A through G classes that we offer at South Hills High School. It also breaks it down again by subject area, the overall requirement, as well as the courses that we offer. We offer a variety of courses in each of these areas. We do not expect all students to take all of these classes. These are just options for courses that students can take within each subject area. And so it is a long list. And it is, again, they do not need to take all of the courses. Those are just the courses that we have available. All of those, sorry, I got distracted. Those are the A through G courses. And again, this will be available to students very shortly. So the scheduling process will begin next week. We will be on Tuesday starting the process of meeting with all of the 11th grade students throughout next week. And we will meet with them during their English class, and we'll be delivering some general information. Some of the information we're sharing tonight, as well as information specific to 11th grade courses and what classes they should plan to take in their senior year. So we'll go over their transcripts, we'll review their 12th grade course options. And then starting the week of February 16th, we will be meeting individually with students, again, in their English classes. So we will pull them out of their Google Meet to a different Google Meet, and we will be going over their transcript, any courses that they need to retake in summer school. We'll talk about those at that time. And then we will also review their courses for their senior year and make sure that they are meeting the requirements for graduation or those A through G requirements. So that will be taking place in their English class over the next month and a half or so. When we're talking to them, we are expecting them to take at least 5 classes during their senior year, including government and economics and an English class. We also will be suggesting that they continue to take a strong academic schedule. We know that a lot of them have felt very overwhelmed by their schedule this year, but we will be suggesting courses to them based on what we know they're capable of and making sure that they're set up for the future that they're hoping for. So we would like them to continue in math, science, language other than English, and any pathway or elective courses that they've been taking. We're also going to encourage them to meet those college and career readiness requirements, the A through G requirements, and if necessary, we may require them to take some credit recovery class or summer school, and we'll be advising them when we meet with them. We do, especially for their senior year, expect students to choose classes that they're willing to commit to for the entire school year. When we help them with their college applications, one of the things that is super important is that the students will indicate their senior year courses on their applications. And when students drop or change courses during their senior year, it complicates the application process. And so we want students to select classes that they're willing to take and commit to for their entire senior year. Now, we know that this is a very unusual year. This has been very different and difficult. And so we understand, and we will have grace in this area. We just want students to really be making selections that they're willing to commit to as best as possible. We'll also be offering them some dual enrollment options. We don't know exactly which courses we will be offering, but dual enrollment is offered through Mount SAC on our campus. It won't be, it may be physically on our campus next year, we'll have to see, but the students are dual enrolled. They take a college level class on their, with their South Hills peers, and they get both transferable college credit as well as high school credit. So this year, we offered a political science class and a math statistics class, and our students earned credit for both high school graduation as well as college credit that they would be able to transfer in the future. All the paperwork that I've put up here, this will be available to the students in several ways. First off, they do not need a paper copy of these things. They do not need a paper copy. They do not need it printed. But If they would like a paper copy, we do have some available in our office starting tomorrow. We are back working from the office, though the offices are not completely open. We'll have a table set up out front tomorrow from 7:30 to 3, and on there we'll have the scheduling, paperwork, and you're welcome to come by and grab a copy. They will be available digitally to the students through their class of 2022 Google Classroom. They should all have access to that Google Classroom now. And those will be available to them as we begin to meet with them in their English classes. So they do not need to print them, but if they would like to, they can either print them at home or you can come grab a copy from our office. The students, once we meet with them next week, we will be sending them off to talk to you in making their decisions. We expect them to think through their choices. We expect them to have conversations with you about what's best for them in the future. And then we are expecting them to enter their course requests in their ARIES portal. They have been doing this pretty much all of high school, so it shouldn't be anything too difficult or too new. But there is a video tutorial to show them how to do that, and we will be giving them that information when we meet with them next week. They do need to enter their course requests in the student portal by February 22nd. So it's the same link. They go to the parent portal link, but they must sign in as a student using their CVUSD account, or else they will not be able to enter their course requests. So that's just one important thing to be aware of. When we meet with your child, if they do need some summer school, either for remediation purposes or because they have an impacted schedule, we are not 100% sure what we will be offering for summer school. We have our what we're hoping for, but we will have more information after we meet with students. We'll be taking the requests and making a note of what they need, and then we'll be providing that information to parents and students in the coming months before the end of the school year. These are the dates for summer school, June 7th through July 9th. So just in case you need to make some plans, those are the dates that we have. One thing that we get asked about a lot with juniors and seniors is enrolling in college classes. So we do have dual enrollment, which is where we have our students in college classes. The entire class is made up of South Hills students. But we also are able to have students take classes at Mount SAC or Citrus for free. They just have to pay for their books. And those are available. They can take one class per term at either Mount SAC or Citrus. It does require that they are in good standing, that they have a minimum 3.0 GPA. There is some paperwork, there's an orientation. They do have to have us sign off that they meet those requirements. But they can get started in taking college level classes while they're in high school if that's something that they're interested in. We also want to make sure that parents and students are aware of the NCAA requirements. So if your child is hoping to be recruited or play Division I or Division II sports in college, just be aware of the NCAA requirements. Grade 11, they should be making sure that they're on track to complete their core courses. And it's important that we look over their 12th grade schedule to make sure that we're meeting those core courses. Now, we know this has been really, really hard for our athletes who, well, for everybody, but our athletes who we're hoping to be recruited and haven't had a chance to play. So we would love to have those conversations and make sure that they are on track if the opportunity arises. I'm going to pass it on to Ms. Mealy for a few minutes.
All right, thank you. So we know that this year is not only a very important year in regards to academics, it is also an important year for your child as a junior to start preparing for college. So in regards to college, it is so important that you as a family and your child know that high school grades and classes matter. So with regards to their GPA, with regards to the classes they choose, with regards to the academic rigor, it is really important that we're aware that the colleges are looking at that. But I also want to note that a lot of colleges, most colleges, if not all, understand where the world is right now. So they know that things are challenging. They know that students are distance learning. They know that there have been some challenges this year. So they most likely will be giving students some grace looking at their transcripts. So there's no need to worry too much about this. Like I said, this is something that students across the country are going through. So students will not be penalized for the distance learning modality that they've been going through right now. We definitely want you as families to start talking about what are your priorities as a family and as a student with regards to their college search. Things to consider when searching for colleges are size. Thinking about South Hills, we're a school of 1,600. There are schools that have 40,000 plus students, but there are also schools that are really intimate and smaller. So thinking about the size of the school, thinking about the location. I'm originally from the East Coast, so I've heard many students wanting to go to the East Coast, but it is currently snowing right now and very cold where I'm from. So being from the, understanding what location, understanding what it means to take public transportation if they want to go to New York, or being in a different state can be something that we encourage students to do research. So the location. Also, some students might want to go across country, but you as parents might not be comfortable with that. So making sure this conversation is happening now. Majors offered. It's really important that your child is researching colleges with regards to the major that is offered. There are many schools that offer amazing majors, but if something specific is an interest of your child and they don't offer it at a certain school, then we definitely want to make sure that they're looking through that their website and their academic offerings. Admissions requirements is one of the biggest pieces. Where does your student lie with regards to the academic requirements that they have? So if your student is around, a 3.0 and they are searching for schools that require a 4.0, knowing that that is going to be a reach school for them. So we're going to talk about those terms in just a bit. Understanding cost and financial aid. How are we going to support, and how are you going to support the student financially? How are they going to be able to apply for financial aid? Will they apply for financial aid? What type of resources are available? And understanding the cost versus a community college, a Cal State, a UC, and a private school. We'll go over that in just a bit too. Campus life, sports and activities. Some students might really want to go to a school that has a really robust athletics program to watch the games. Some students might want to play intramural sports. They might want to get involved in Greek life or any type of activity, making sure that they're looking at that. And then research and internship opportunities might be really important for your child as well. So making sure that they are thinking about these topics. Another one is the average amount of time it takes to graduate. Some schools have statistics that show it takes a student 5 to 6 years to get their diploma. Thinking about why that is and asking those questions. So these are some things to consider when having conversations. And we're going to be going over all of this with your child as well. We have actually at one point, I believe we did earlier in this year talk about this. So I mentioned the term reach school. These are the terms that we use when we talk to your child and our students about college. We put them in little buckets. So a reach school is a school that students have a 10 to 20% chance of acceptance. This is typically a dream school, a school where they might not meet the requirements that the school asks for academically, but it's something that they want to take the challenge and the leap to apply. Majority of, if not all, Ivy Leagues are considered reach schools because their acceptance rate is so significantly low that it's a reach school for anyone. So making sure that your student, we really want students to aim high and dream big, but having maybe 1 or 2 reach schools in their list is ideal. Majority of the students' schools on their college list should be target schools. So this is a 50 to 60% chance of acceptance with regards to where your child meets their admission requirement. They should be just in line with a target school. So the chances of getting in are pretty good, but it's obviously not guaranteed. This is where we want the bulk of students' college in their college list to be. And then safety schools are schools that your child has their admissions requirements or the academic requirements are below where your child is. So, or it can be right on, but maybe their acceptance rate is a bit higher. This is where we want students to have a few in case other options don't pan out, and making sure this is a great one to be financially safe. So community colleges are a great college to have in the safety school bucket. So we will be talking through these when we have conversations about college. So we encourage you to as well. And then how do you continue to prepare for college? Getting involved in school and community activities. We know that it has been challenging to get involved because of the pandemic and the stay-at-home order, but we have seen students do incredible things this year, from creating clubs to getting involved, making fundraisers happen, even in a socially distanced way. We highly encourage your student to get involved. However, we also know that not every student is going to create a club or going to do something like that, but a lot of colleges, when we go to college conferences, they want to know how your child is going to make a difference on their campus. And it doesn't have to be significant things. It can be something as simple as, helping out with a younger sibling or something meaningful in their community. So making sure that your child is getting involved, and we're going to talk about a few options for those involved, for students to get involved, sorry. Visit colleges. So this is something that we really push students and families to do. However, we know that this might not be possible right now. There are a lot of opportunities for you to virtually visit colleges. We have those things up on our website, and you can check out virtual college visits. Most schools have it already on their website to check out a 360 view of their school. And then start researching scholarship opportunities. This is one of the biggest questions as counselors that we get about what type of scholarships are available. We get provided scholarships locally. We get emails all the time about certain scholarships that come up. We post them on our social media and on our website. But specific scholarships, we highly recommend that students begin to do research. Students cannot apply to scholarships just yet. Some might, very specific ones for juniors, but the bulk of scholarships should be applied during their senior year. So these are some websites to check out in regards to researching scholarship opportunities. As I mentioned, GPA is something that is important for college admission. All Covina Valley Unified High Schools report students' GPAs on transcripts in an unweighted fashion. So the highest GPA if a student is to have straight A's throughout their 4 years of high school is a 4.0. 10th and 11th graders are used, 10th and 11th grades are used to determine eligibility for the UCs and Cal States. This does not mean that they don't take in account their 9th grade grades, but they focus on 10th and 11th grade semesters. The last semester that will count towards a student's GPA, this is really important for our juniors, is the end of this semester. So the GPA that they earn at the end of the semester is the GPA that they will be putting on their college applications in the fall. So it is so important that your child is working really hard in their classes, trying to get those C's to B's and those B's to A's, or just getting to a C, however they need to get a passing grade to bump that GPA up. We are going to encourage students to retake any D's and F's that they receive. So we do have opportunities for credit recovery to improve their GPA, but that would have to be over the summer. I do want to jump back real quick and mention about the weighting of GPA. I know this is a question that comes up a lot. Being that we as a district do not weigh our GPA on students' transcripts, certain schools will do their own weighted GPA through their application. So the UCs and the Cal States have their own weighting policy. Certain schools will do their own weighting dependent on the classes that they take. So weighted GPA does come into effect if a school wants to do the calculation themselves. They typically have their own calculation to weigh a student's GPA. Continue to keep that GPA nice and high, as I said, and the biggest thing with regards to financial aid is students, their GPA can determine the amount of money they get for Cal Grants. So Cal Grants are a financial finances that the state of California provides for California residents. Students who receive Cal Grants must have a 3.0 or higher for a four-year university or a 2.0 or higher for a community college. This is all based on financial need. So if you qualify as a family for financial need and students have this GPA, they could possibly get full tuition for a Cal State or a UC as long as they meet the GPA requirement and the financial need requirement. So a lot of information. GPA is really important, making sure that your child is continuing to push in these classes. And we understand that this is challenging, but whatever they can do to get those grades nice and high this semester, this is the last semester that will count towards their GPA for college. So we're going to go through the college options, the California public universities, private universities, out-of-state schools, community colleges, and trade school and adult ed programs. So starting off with the public universities in California, we have an incredible system of public schools throughout the state. We have the Cal State universities as well as the University of California system. Starting with the Cal States, these are schools you might know like Cal State LA, Cal State Fullerton, Cal Poly Pomona. These are public four-year universities. Students apply in the fall. Deadlines vary, but for this year it changed a bit due to everything going on, but typically it's from October to November 30th. There are 23 campuses, all the way up from Humboldt down to San Diego. Students must have a 2.0 GPA or higher to apply. There is no SAT or ACT requirement. This is new this year, which is really great because it's something that schools have been considering for a while to remove this requirement, but they made it official this year. So the Cal States and the UCs do not require an SAT. They are called test blind, which means they do not look at test scores. They won't even look at it, even if they took it. They do not require any personal statements, and the approximate cost is $23,000 per year. That's including room and board. That's including all other expenses. This is the most affordable option for your child in regards to four-year universities. The University of California system, you might know UCLA, UC San Diego, Cal Berkeley. These are, again, public four-year universities. The application window is a bit shorter, November 1st to the 30th, but it does open earlier. So students are able to get on there and work on their application, but they cannot submit until this window. There are about 9 campuses. There is a 3.0 minimum GPA requirement, so they will not look at applications for students lower than a 3.0, and that's on the lower range. So definitely making sure that, and this is something that we have conversations with students a lot, that students who qualify for a Cal State versus qualify for a UC in regards to GPA, it is a 3.0 minimum GPA. Again, there is no SAT or ACT required, but the big difference between the UCs and the Cal States with regards to application requirements is they require 4 personal insight questions, which are 4 basic questions about the student, and they look at that very highly in regards to admission. So this is something that we always push for students to start as early as possible. These questions are available on the UC website. You can just Google UC personal insight questions. They haven't changed over the past few years. So we would definitely recommend having your child check them out. And these, the UCs are a bit more expensive. The approximate cost is $34,000 per year. But as mentioned in the previous slide, if you do qualify, your child does qualify for Cal Grants, they are able to go to a Cal State and a UC tuition free. Other college options, we also have the California community colleges as well as the private and out-of-state colleges. I'm going to jump over to the private and out-of-state colleges because we were just talking about four-year universities. These are public or private universities that differ across the board. So some popular ones in our area: APU, University of La Verne, Stanford, USC, and then out-of-state schools, some popular ones: University of Oregon, Arizona State, University of Arizona. There are thousands across the country. These application deadlines vary. The admissions requirements vary. They may require the SAT depending on the school. So it is so important that you and your child are doing the research to see what the requirements are. These, the approximate cost go from all the way up to $60,000 a year to $30,000. It really depends on the school and what type of financial aid is available. So the biggest piece of advice we can give in regards to private and out-of-state schools is to do the research, see what exactly is available. And we'll be talking about a tool to do that in a bit. California Community Colleges is the most affordable option for students who want to pursue a college degree. So this is a public certificate or a 2-year transfer program. Many students go into a community college to then transfer to a 4-year. Application deadlines vary, but we work with Mount SAC and Citrus to help students through the application process. There are over 100 in California. There's no minimum GPA. They just have to get their high school diploma, and there's no testing requirement. Tuition is about $1,100 a year, so obviously much more affordable. The 2-year options, diving a little bit deeper, Mount SAC, we work with them with their Connect 4 program. And how this works is students will sign up if they're interested in applying to Mount SAC, and they will go through this process during the school day. So we have a high school outreach specialist who meets with our students. They are currently meeting right now in this month and in the next few months to go through these 4 steps. So they will be able to complete the application, go through the assessment and the orientation, the registration process. So students who complete this process receive priority registration for the fall term. And if any of you have gone to a community college, you know that it can be really challenging, or even any university, to get the classes that you need. So the benefit to going through this program with us is students get priority registration. So they're able to get their classes, guarantee their classes by going through the Connect 4 program with South Hills. They also offer the Promise Plus program, which can provide free tuition for 2 years, depending on need. And then they also have summer opportunities. And then the next community college that we work with is Citrus College. Similarly to the Mount SAC program, a representative comes to our school. It's been virtual this year and walks them through the application process. They have a program called the Promise program, which will provide 2 years for free if they qualify, have a financial need, or they qualify, and also go through the steps with the Citrus College representative. There are definitely differences between Mount SAC and Citrus, so we recommend that if your child is interested, to do some research about the programs they offer, what the campuses are like, the location, to decide which one would be best. There has been so many benefits to having this virtual platform for our students, especially with regards to getting college information. So the NACAC, which is an Association for College Admission, hosts virtual college fairs and we don't expect you to be able to read these colleges, and it's purposeful because we want to be able to show how many schools are available for your child to check out virtually through their virtual college fairs. So the link in the chat will take you there. The next one coming up is February 28th, and students can log on and pick and choose which colleges they want to attend and hear some more information about. So it is just an information session where they will hear a little sales pitch from the school and learn about their programs and what they have to offer, and an opportunity to talk to admissions reps, which is very, very important, especially for those higher selective colleges. It's important to build connections. So this is a great way to get started through this virtual college fair. As well, College Board is doing something similar where they have big future days, but they are putting their presentations together by region. So the Western region has passed. We did promote this on our Instagram for students to check out, but there are opportunities for them to check out other regions of the country in regards to colleges. So that website is in the chat. And then one more, we do have another opportunity for first-time freshmen, March 8th to 11th. These are for private independent colleges. So you won't have any Cal States or UCs in this program, but this is for, I would recommend going to the website to see what schools are available, and we'll be there. This is another great opportunity for students to meet representatives, hear what they have to say about their programs, and learn a little bit more to solidify their college list. So I do want to, before Mrs. Hanson jumps in about paying for college, I do want to mention that this time of year is the time for students to start making their college list. So we have a lot of students that come into senior year and they're like, I don't know where I want to apply. And they have to scramble to put together schools because the deadlines come really fast, especially for the Cal States and the UCs. So we recommend, at least maybe now or as the year starts to close and into the summer, that your child is at least coming up with a list of 8 to 10 colleges that they're thinking of applying to. Doing their research, we always recommend create an Excel spreadsheet, make a list of the schools, and put all of the, whether it's the majors or the financial information. Sorry about that. Make sure they're staying organized in regard to their list so that when the time comes, they're prepared and ready to go. So we recommend that you start having those conversations.
Thank you, Ms. Mealy. I do want to talk briefly about paying for college because she talked through, the different college options, which ones may be the most affordable or which ones are kind of how much they cost. And so a lot of times parents are like, well, that's too expensive, or kids are like, nope, not going to happen. And we want you to be making these decisions and building the college list with some information in mind. And so when we talk about financial aid for college, we'll go into a lot more depth at the beginning of the year next year. We typically hold a meeting. We typically hold a meeting in September or early October for you, again, to go over a lot of this same information. But we'll go into a lot more depth about paying for college and what the financial aid process looks like. But we just want you to be aware that there is ways to fund college. And it typically comes in 3 different ways. Free money, which is grants and scholarships. So like the Cal Grant that Ms. Mealy was talking about, that's money provided by the state or the federal government. And then scholarships that are usually done through private organizations or companies. There's work study, which is an opportunity for students to have a part-time job on their college campus. And rather than earning a full paycheck, the money that they earned is used to pay for their tuition. Or loans. A lot of times loans are kind of hidden in the financial aid process because colleges are trying to sell you on their school. And so we will make ourselves available in the beginning of the year next year and again throughout all of their senior year to help you figure out what the colleges are offering, what is available to you, how to avoid taking out loans whenever possible. The first thing, if you have never done this before, one of the things that you'll have to do at the start of next or sometime next school year is complete either the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, or the California DREAM Act application. And the filing period for those is October 1st through March 2nd. So again, we'll go over more in-depth information at the beginning of the school year next year, but just kind of keep in mind that in order to qualify for free money, work study, or even loans, you will be required to complete one of those applications. I want to talk through some resources that are available in the college search. So Ms. Mealy said, do your research, and then it's really scary. Like, where do we go from here? Do I just Google college? Or we don't want that to be the case. So we have some resources that are available. the district has purchased Naviance as a tool for students. And this is a college search website to help students search through different college options, look at career options, help them build a resume, and again, search for scholarship information. We have made it very, very easy for students to access their Naviance account as long as they are logged into their CVUSD email or Google account. All they have to do is go to the Google Waffle and select Naviance for students. Once they log in, it will take them to this main Naviance page. And on here, they will have access to different tabs. So there's a colleges tab, a careers tab, about me, a planner tab, and some tasks that they may be assigned, or college visits. So for example, here, February 16th, we have the University of Lincoln, Nebraska, who is visiting us virtually for students to get more information. So this is the homepage for Naviance. They can explore the career information by clicking on the careers tab. And then they can look different ways. Say they really know what they want to do. I want to be a nurse. I want to be an engineer. I want to be an event planner, something like that. They type in the title of the career, hit the search bar, and it'll give more information. Most students, or many students, are really uncertain, or they think, okay, I want to do engineering, but I really don't know exactly what that means, or that there are 50 different types of engineers, and what does that mean in choosing colleges. So a lot of times we suggest students do a career cluster finder, or the career interest profiler. It'll ask them some questions about themselves and their interests, and from there it'll give options, show different careers. When students click on those careers, it will give them information about the job, about skills that are necessary. It will give them information about wages for that particular career, both in California and across the country. It'll also link them to college majors for that career, as well as colleges that have those majors. So it's a really comprehensive system to help students navigate through the different careers that exist, many of which they have never heard of and I've never heard of. They can also explore colleges by using the colleges tab. So they can do this by, again, just typing in the name of the college if they know which one they're looking for. Or we suggest them using some of the searches. One of the searches that I like is the Supermatch College search. The Supermatch College search is cool because it breaks it down by filters. So as students start to choose different filters that are important to them, it'll narrow down the choices or the colleges that match that criteria. And they can separate them by must-have, like I must go to a school that has this particular thing. Or for me, it would be like, I must go to school in California, but it'd be nice to have a tennis team. I'm not good at tennis, but you get the idea. So it must be in California, but it'd be nice to have a tennis team. Or it's a must-have to be a engineering major, but it'd be nice to be in California. So it kind of, they can search them out, and they can enter their own data. So their own GPA, they can enter the things that are important to them when selecting. This is a starting point, and we want students to be at this point right now. This is going to give them information about different colleges that are possible matches for them. From there, they will have links to the college websites for them to do additional research and look for additional information. But they'll be, when you click on the link, it'll have the name of the school, it'll have virtual tours, links to the website, lists of activities, lists of majors, a lot of information within the Naviance system. We also have some other resources or tools that are available in this search. So for students that are still undecided about career options, this is California Career Zone. It is specific to California. And this is a website kind of geared at looking forward 5 or 10 years. What careers are going to be available to Californians? And which sectors are going to be hiring? What careers are they anticipating in California? So there's the Explore tab where students can, again, answer questions about themselves, but also discover what careers are out there, or what California is anticipating will exist going forward. So that's a great website to explore. It is also free. And then we have a College Board Big Future. So all of our students likely have a College Board account, especially if they were here in 10th grade and they took a pre-AP biology last year. So many of our students have College Board accounts. If they don't, it's a free account. They can sign up. And this is another website similar to Naviance, where they have career options to explore, college options. They have information about paying for college, including their own scholarship, opportunity scholarships. These are like raffle scholarships, so students can complete a series of steps, like building a college list, and they get entered into a drawing for a $500 scholarship, or completing the FAFSA, then they get entered into the drawing for a $1,000 scholarship. We have had some winners for these scholarships over the last year or so, and so there are winners, but students shouldn't be expecting to get these just by doing that. But these are incentives to help them guide them in the college planning process. I do want to take a minute to talk a little bit about some things that are upcoming. I saw a question about AP or IB testing, so I'm going to address that in this section. First, I want to talk a minute about CASP testing. It is done in 11th grade, so this is the year. We are at the point where we anticipate that the students will be testing this year. So the last time they took a CASP test was in 8th grade. And in high school, they only do 11th grade, and the state is proceeding with CASP testing virtually. So students, it's important for our school. It's how we're judged. It's how we receive our funding is based on some of this information. The score on the CASP is on the student's transcript, so we do want them to do their best. We understand that this is also a very
Are other people
odd
in the
year.
cafeteria?
This is a very odd year, and we know that it's okay. So we just want students to do their best during this testing window. The testing window will be in April or May, and you'll be receiving more specific information about this, both the students and the parents. A couple of things to keep in mind: students will need to use either their district issued laptops, or they need to have the secure browser installed on their computer. So it's important to keep that in mind, that as you're receiving information from the district about these things, that you're following through. So making sure that your district issued laptop works, or the secure browser is installed on your personal computer. It is a shortened version of the test, but it is still done over 3 days. And again, more information about those specific dates will be coming soon from our administration. Our administrators will also be working with our students to set goals for the CASP. It says on here next week, but I don't believe that it's next week. I think it's in a couple of weeks. And they'll help them look at their scores and see where are they at, what are their goals, what can they do, what's one thing they can do between now and the test to help them get their best score possible. One reason that the CASP is important is for students who are planning to attend Cal States. Again, that's the California State Universities. Those are our public California colleges. There are 23 of them, so many of our students, that's where they go. The scores for the CASP are used to determine their college class placement. So it's important for them to do their best, because we want them to be placed in their classes correctly when they begin their college courses. In the past, they were able to use SAT scores for that placement, but now the SAT scores are not being used at the Cal States. They are using the CASP scores and their high school grades to help that determine that placement. There is more information on the Cal State website. So this is about the multiple measures to help the students be placed correctly in their college level courses when they start at the Cal State after high school. I do want to take a minute to talk a little bit about the SAT and the ACT. So both of these historically have been nationally administered standardized testing. that colleges use when evaluating students' applications. Many colleges are no longer using the SAT or the ACT to make those admissions decisions. Some of them, it was based on the pandemic, they've made those decisions more recently or more temporarily. In terms of the Cal States and UCs, they have gone test blind. Miss Mealy was talking about this when she was talking about those. The SAT and ACT are no longer factored in to the admission decision. So if the student takes it, it doesn't help them, or it's not reviewed for the Cal States and UCs. Other schools are still requiring, so that's why we want students to make sure that they are doing their research, that if they're applying to colleges that require a test score, that they make sure that they take that test. There's a website called fairtest.org that has a list of all the schools that do not require an SAT or ACT exam for admission. We do understand that some students do need to take the SAT based on where they're planning to apply for college. So our district is offering an opportunity to our juniors to take it during the school day on March 24th. There's a link to register if you would like your child to take the SAT on March 24th. They will come to campus, be placed in small groups in classrooms, and take the exam. Again, I would make sure that you're looking at whether or not your child needs to take it. If they're interested in taking it, of course, they're welcome to. But if their goal is to go to community college or to apply to just Cal States and UCs, it is not required for them. If they do decide to take the SAT on March 24th, there are some practices available. Khan Academy is a free online SAT practice website. So they took, your child took the PSAT in 10th grade, and it can link their scores from the PSAT and anticipate what they will need help with in order to do well on the SAT. So that is a resource that is available. Khan Academy, Khan, Khan Academy, is available to students, and it can be linked to their College Board account for individualized practice. I do want to take a minute to talk about AP and IB exams. We are still getting more information from both College Board for the advanced placement exams and from IBO for the International Baccalaureate exams. For IB, it is not really affecting very many juniors because only a handful of them are actually testing this school year, but they will be scored based on their internal assessments, and they will not be taking final exams. That's for IB. For AP, they, up until this week, had been planning to go forward with in-person AP 5-hour tests, 3 to 5 hour tests like normal. Just this week, they released information to schools letting us know that they are going to open up other testing options. We will be learning more about that in the coming weeks in terms of what does that mean for our students. Do we select as a school? Do the students self-select? Do we get it decided by our public health department? So we're still waiting for more information about the AP exams. But those will still take place in the month of May. So as we receive that information, we will definitely pass it on, especially once it's been decided, especially the test dates. I'm going to pass it back to Ms. Mealy to talk a little bit more about some upcoming events and resources.
Yes, so there are a few events coming up that we want to make sure we touch upon, but we want to make sure that we're providing you as you and your child with resources during this challenging time. As I mentioned before, that we do have a few 11th grade opportunities, opportunities specific to juniors. One of them being the University of La Verne Reach Business Camp. So if your child is interested in business or interested in pursuing a business degree after high school, and also looking for a summer opportunity to really build their strengths and their leadership skills, this is a really great program. We will be holding an informational meeting on February 17th at 2:15 for all juniors, and we will provide them with the application to be due by the 22nd. This information is also on our Instagram. You can feel free to find it and send to your child or just grab a screenshot. We will be pushing more information about this to your juniors in the Google Classroom as well as any other way we can. Really what they focus on here is getting an exposure to a business education. In the past, they have had students live on campus for the 3 weeks. However, I do not believe that this is going to be on campus. Obviously, things can change, but this is a really great opportunity regardless to get some skills and a great resume builder for students who are interested in the business world. As well, we have a lot of students who share with us that they're interested in the medical field. Volunteer opportunities for Eminent Health is available on this link that we will put in the chat. Students must be 15 years old by June 1st and must be able to commit to 100 hours over a year. Many universities and organizations run specialized summer programs. As we receive info, we always post it in the students' Google Classrooms as well as on social media. We're really encouraging students to get involved, and we know that it might be challenging because some opportunities might not be available in person, but some opportunities are just as meaningful in a virtual world. So we will be pushing out those through social media, in their Google Classroom, and in the Husky e-News as they come up. One thing we want to make sure and always remind you to do is to complete a lunch application and do it every year. Students who qualify for free or reduced lunch may be eligible for testing waivers and application fee waivers. So when students start applying to college, they may be able to apply for free and get their application fee waived if they are on our free and reduced lunch list. So we highly encourage that you do apply, even if you're not sure if you will qualify. It's worth just to apply. As well, during the pandemic, the district is providing weekly food boxes for families in need. So that is available on Wednesdays. You can check out this link as well as reach out to Nutrition Services if you have any questions about the pickup. In the beginning of the presentation, we talked about our role as counselors, and we focused on this presentation to be very academic and college and career heavy for getting prepared for their senior year. But we also work very closely with students with regards to supporting their mental health, especially now during this challenging time of being isolated and the global pandemic and everything going on in the world. So we want to provide some resources so you have them. CareSolace.com is a case management system that families can use to refer their child to get mental health support and mental health services. If you use this link here, it is specific for Covina Valley parents. You'll be able to put in your personal information in regards to getting in contact with you, and a case manager will reach out to you quite quickly. They do it in a very quick turnaround, and they'll be able to help you navigate the mental health system with regards to your insurance, seeing where places have appointments, where you can get in to make sure that your child is getting the help that they need. So this is a really great opportunity. If you have questions about this, we can also help refer or walk you through this process as well. There's also a community resource guide. You can go to the South Hills website, click on the social emotional resources tab, and this will take you to a page on our website that has community resource guide on the right-hand side in English and Spanish. This is like a 12-page packet full of amazing resources that our community has for our families. So be sure to check this out. It's always great to just have in hand in case you need something. And then the Covina Valley Unified School District website, the main page, has a mental health resources tab that you can click on for more information about different topics, coping with COVID-19, as well as where the arrow is pointing. This is school-based mental health counseling. So this is a referral form that you will click on if you are interested in your child getting mental health services through the school. This will be provided by a social work intern that will be able to meet with your student to go through coping skills and mental health related topics to help them get through whatever they might be dealing with. And then as well, specific to South Hills, we are so proud of our wellness center. Of course, students have not been able to use it yet, but we do have some virtual resources. So under the wellness tab on our website, you can check out the South Hills Wellness Center site. The most important part of this is the wellness resources by topic. We are constantly updating it. You can see there are resources on things for anxiety, grief and loss, isolation, sleep, relationships, and many other topics. Be sure to check this out. Even if you are like, hey, I'm not sure what type of resources to provide my child, I know they're struggling with something, check this site out to see there's so many resources available, whether it's a website or a PDF or an app to try out. We highly recommend that you use this and encourage your child to as well. We also have one more opportunity for students to find a break among all of the chaos going on right now. A virtual calming space we created last semester, actually 2 semesters ago when the school closure began. This has different types of resources such as visual relaxation, coloring pages, journaling prompts, stretching and yoga, all different things for students to find just a place to chill and relax if they need it virtually, as well as for you if you want to check it out with your family as a whole. And then we highly encourage your child during this time to get involved. And we know that connection has been one of the biggest challenges for students this year, being able to connect with their peers, being able to just connect to their community. So we at South Hills have a wide range of clubs with a wide range of interests. These are just a few that you see here, from Mental Health and Wellness Club to Diversity Club, Dog Pack, Girls Who STEM. These are some logos that we have to share the amazing things our students are doing. We do not require volunteer hours for graduation, but it definitely will benefit a college application for students to have community service. It's not required, but it is something that they look at. So we highly encourage students to get involved in clubs, maybe find a job, volunteering, sports, religious activities, whatever fits in your student's schedule. This is some ways that students can really bump up their college application with regards to their resume and what they're doing. As I mentioned, we have 35 active clubs. So on our school website, you can go to the activities tab, click on clubs, and you'll see a list with an explanation of the club, the staff advisor, as well as the student president, and then some ways to get in touch with them, whether it's their email or their social media. We encourage you to take a look. Students are meeting virtually. The counselors are advisors for some clubs, and they are doing amazing things this year. So definitely check out the clubs that we have for students to find ways to get connected. And then one of our favorite events of the year is Light Up the Night. This is our showcase to show our community all of the amazing programs and academics that we have at South Hills. So Light Up the Night is happening March 11th in some capacity. I do know ASB is working up some amazing things to make this a safe event. So be sure to mark your calendar. More information will definitely be pushed out once we get closer, but March 11th is our official Light Up the Night date. All right, so we want to thank you all so very much for being here tonight. We know that coming onto a virtual meeting at 7, going till 8:15 is a lot. So we truly appreciate your time. We did cover a lot of information. If you have any questions, we're going to hang tight in the meeting. This is our contact information. The South Hills website is constantly updated with info. Feel free to give us a call. Counselors are back in the office. So if you need to get a hold of us, please call the counseling office. And then one big thing is, especially for your child during their senior year, our South Hills Instagram and Twitter is incredibly active, especially for seniors. So we're always posting scholarship opportunities, things that come up, upcoming events. So be sure for you to follow so you can send those to your child, or encourage your child to follow us to make sure that they are staying up to date with everything going on. And another exciting thing on our Instagram is we always post college acceptances and where students commit to. That's one of our favorite things to do. We get to celebrate where our amazing Huskies are going. So be sure to take a look, follow us, and get a hold of us if you need. We are available. So feel free to, if you have questions, to throw them into the chat, or you can come off mute. If you do not have any questions, thank you for coming. We appreciate your time. and we hope for a really good remainder of the year.